Hello guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to On the Road. In today's update, they've finally released wheel support. Now, this is a very long and controversial topic with most trucking games, especially with On the Road. Now, I know that Xbox users didn't have wheel support at the beginning. And they promised everybody that wheel support was coming soon. Now, the PS4 users, they had the privilege of obviously being able to use a wheel. And today we finally got an update for wheel support, which was quite refreshing. To be honest with you, I thought that it was never going to come, especially after obviously being able to use a wheel for the PS4, and then when the PS5 version came out, you weren't able to use the wheel for some reason, which really didn't make sense, but there we are. Now I'm just loading in now, and straight away I used the Logitech G29, and I went straight to the settings, and I just wanted to see whether there was any steering wheel options, steering wheel settings, anything like that, being able to turn down or turn up the force feedback, etc. And there's absolutely nothing. It's basically just a bog standard, but at least now there is wheel support. So I guess it kind of, I wouldn't say it makes everything better, because I'm sure that, there are still a few bugs which need to be ironed and polished out. From obviously previous experience, I've lost several save games. I've had the game crash on me. The AI is so unforgiving that at times it's almost impossible to play. Bearing in mind that obviously you get fines for running red lights or things like that, and when the traffic, the AI, they just seem to cluster up in places, and there's no way of getting around them. You have to push through it. But fingers crossed that they managed to kind of just iron a few things out. Now that we're here with the wheel support, hopefully it makes everybody else's experience that tiny little bit more bearable, if that makes any sense. But as we're here, as I've got the wheel in front of me, the force feedback, it's really heavy. Now, in comparison, before, I knew that if I was to load up another game which used the wheel, for instance, the Crew 2, for example, or Car X Drift, and then load it into On the Road, it would replicate the steering force feedback sensitivity. So from just loading into the base game, it makes the steering really heavy. But if you load into another racing game beforehand and then load back into On the Road, it seems to make it much more bearable. Now, I understand that we're driving trucks, so obviously things are going to be heavy. But from this standpoint alone, at least it's nice that we've got wheel support back. And obviously, as a sim rig owner, I'm sure many of you agree that having this back makes the game a little bit more bearable. And yeah, I mean, it's something that we've all wanted. Now, we're gonna have a little rant a moment, because I mean, like they say, better late than never. But it's been a long time, and especially with the developer, it's taken far too long for something very simple. Lots of promises, in the next update, it goes on and on and on and on and on. And probably it's at a situation now where You know, well, now they've got wheel support back in the game. All those people that were waiting around have probably moved on to bigger and better things. But yeah, I just wanted to give my thoughts on it really. The lack of communication from them over the last few months, not just that, but the last year has been, it's been disgusting in my opinion. There's no real excuse. There's nothing they can really say. And the one thing that got me more than anything was the fact that they were working on other titles before getting this game finished, and it's taken them a considerable amount of time, especially for some of the bugs. They're so minor that you know, they could easily be addressed, but instead it was just laid onto us as a bunch of, you know, false promises and delay after delay, and then will support working and then not working. And yeah, I respected the fact that people's frustrations grew. But yeah, we're back on it today. We're going to take a look now. I've had to start my game again because of a corrupt file save last time I played on the road. But I'm not going to make this too long of a video. But what I am going to do is just plain and simply just take a little drive, see how the trucks actually handle, see what the AI is like, see if they've improved on anything else. And yeah, I'll just go from there really. There we are. But like I said, the steering, the force feedback is extremely heavy. So it's a shame that they haven't incorporated any sort of settings to be able to adjust the wheel. Yeah, to adjust the wheel, force feedback settings. I've also noticed that the mirrors are still the same. You get like a white wall just following you. But obviously it doesn't matter so much because that's behind you. You've only got to deal with what's directly in front of you or directly behind you, I guess. But it's such a small thing, you know. But yeah, I have to admit, it does feel really refreshing to be able to use the wheel again. And obviously for the Xbox users which didn't have that luxury in the beginning, I hope you guys really enjoy it, because it is a fun game when it works. And I think that's all it comes down to, really. There's no other trucking game like this for consoles, and that's a shame. You do have Truck Driver, but Truck Driver has followed a similar pattern. So either way, you can't really win. It just depends on what you want from the game, to be completely honest. On the Road definitely has a bigger map. It has more stuff to do logistically, you know, filling up your lorries, and traveling from point A to point B takes, you know, a considerable amount of time in comparison to Truck Driver. But with the current wheel support being now back into the game, it still doesn't make the current state of the game okay. There is still a lot of things which they really need to sort out. Like, now is the time, I think, with wheel support being back in the game, that they really pull their finger out and try to, you know, put this game straight, because it does have a lot of potential. And I think that is exactly why most of the fans of on the road, and truck driver like the same. I think that was the most disappointing thing of it all. But the lack of communication, there was only so many videos that you could make to cover this game. There was only so many things that you could really say about it. And in the end, it just boiled down to one thing and one thing only. It was so I know, subpar, so unpolished, that even the updates that we did get didn't make up for half the stuff which we've endured just trying to play a trucking game. But it is rather nice now that we have the wheel support, I have to admit. The one thing that really got me was, like many other sim rig users, wheel users, is that we buy these simulation games for the wheel, for the sake of the wheel. With the current state of the market for sim games on console, there aren't very many compared to PC, so we've got to take what we can get. Now, when things don't go quite right, and we become passionate, and that's all it is. It's just constructive criticism. I'm not hating on the game. I've just been here from the beginning, and I've been through the entire process of them telling us that they're going to do something, and then it never actually materializes, and that's very frustrating, because I see the potential in this game. I really do, and the things which they need to put right are so simple that it wouldn't take them long. But I guess that's just the way it is. Like I said, I'm not gonna hate on the game, because I've spent a fair few good hours on it. It's just a little bit frustrating with the lack of updates and the lack of communication. It was a long old road, and I'm glad that they're finally managing to get things on track. But it would have been much better if it was done sooner rather than later. But here we are. And it's really good to see the wheel support back. I mean, for the longevity of this game, with the inconsistencies between updates and the lack of communication between updates, I was very surprised that wheel support actually came. But like I said previously, only because the wheel support's here, it doesn't mean to say that their job is done. And after the PS5 update came out, that's exactly how it felt. The next gen versions of the game, the moment that they came out, we heard nothing. And in my eyes, I looked at it as like, well, they think they've done their job now. They've upgraded it a little bit, but in actual fact, even though the trucks and the cabs look nice, but they're going to, because obviously it's licensed. But it's just the AI. It's the pop in, the cloud that follows you as you drive. It's not being let out as you're coming out of a junction or something. But we'll put it to the test. We'll put it to the test. I mean, I know that it's only wheel support, but I'm not entirely sure what else they've added. But we'll see. We'll see if this guy lets me out. No. I'll park in the road and see if he stops. Now, he does stop. Okay. He's stopped. Okay, so before the AI weren't very forgiving, and it seems that now they seem to be a little bit more lenient. So yeah, I mean, first impressions. I mean, in the state that I left the game in, it left a really bad taste in my mouth. But it's really good to see that they've managed to address a few issues. But we shall see. We're still early doors. Sometimes different bugs happen to different people. People report different things at different times. But I'm really glad they got the mirrors sorted out. The inside of the trucks look really, really nice. And now that we've got wheel support back, it makes the whole experience 1,000 times better, 100%. It would have been nice if we had a few steering wheel settings options, but I mean, we can only take what we get at the moment. We can't ask for too much from these guys. I understand that it costs money and funding and all that kind of stuff, but these things were in game and then taken away, so you gotta understand the frustrations for those that did have it and then it was taken away. It was a big kick in the teeth, really. No, we got a tiny bit of pop in the distance, but that's negligible, really. I mean, it's one of those things. As long as the trucks perform fine, as long as the AI behave themselves, that's all that really matters. As long as obviously game save files don't crash and corrupt, it's all good. But we shall definitely see in the future what comes of it. But yeah, I hope you liked the video. Anyway, guys, if you did, please leave a like. Please subscribe, turn the bell notification on. Because now that the wheel support's on this game, I'll be covering it a bit more than I used to. And I'll give it a little bit more time and care now that they're seen to be doing stuff, but I'm not going to hold my breath. I'll try and cover it as much as I go. But yeah, for the meantime, I'm just gonna have a nice little journey across the motorway, and yeah. But if there's any questions that you have for this update or anything that you would like to know, then please, by all means, leave a comment in the comment section below, because I'm fairly confident that even though I'm not experiencing bugs, I'm pretty sure there's somebody out there that is. So it'd be very interesting to hear. Yeah, I mean, I've just realised that the AI is still a bit bossy. I mean, only because you're indicating it doesn't mean to say that you can move across, But no, it's just tiny things like that. But I mean, so far with the Logitech G29, the force feedback is not too bad. It's extremely. It could be lightened up a bit, but other than that, that's really as far as my complaints go. But for level down the line, I just hope that these guys really pull their finger out and pay attention to this game, because there's a lot of passionate people. And now that the wheel support is here, that's just relit that fire, and hopefully it's rekindled and encouraged a few people to come back. It'd be a shame if people don't come back to experience it, because it is a good game when it works. But other than that, I mean, there's not really much I can say, guys. But it's really really positive that they're managing to iron out these problems. And hopefully in the future, you know, this game will get to a state where, you know, it is classed as one of the better trucking games to buy on console, you know, and with the wheel support back, this is the best time for them to do it. You know, I mean, people have already been burnt once, you know, not just with this game, but with obviously Truck Driver as well. You know, it always seems to be the same story. But hopefully that game gets itself together as well, because it's not a bad game either. It really just depends on what you want from a trucking game, really. But overall impressions on this update, I'm very impressed with the AI. I'm very happy that the wheel support is back, even if there is no settings to adjust it. The AI seemed to be behaving himself for the most part, and visually for the PS5, it's not looking too bad. But like I said, there's a few pop-in issues, and obviously the cloud that chases you in the mirror. But I think for the game that it is, you've just got to accept that fact, because they're tiny, minute things. You know, it's negligible. It's until it comes to the point of where, you know, you're losing your saves and things don't work properly within game that really should. You know, for example, AI, you know, clustering up, or, you know, blocking roads and stuff, and there's no way of you getting past without incurring a fine. You know, it's just little things like that, quality of life updates, which will make the experience a lot better for the user. But they're definitely stepping in the right direction. The wheel support being back in now will hopefully give them the attention that this game deserves, despite how you may feel about it. You know, they did say they was going to bring it back, and they have. So you got to give credit where credit is due. But let's just hope that they continue to improve on the game, and hopefully it gets to a point where, you know, us passionate enthusiasts aren't pulling our hair out anymore, you know. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching the video. If you liked it, please be sure to subscribe, turn the bell notification on, so you don't miss any future updates and live streams regarding games like this, sim games, first person shooters, you name it. I'm doing a bit of a variety, so, you know, it's all gravy. But until next time, guys, I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one.